Welcome back class 9th students in our chemistry class, and we are in our 7th lecture, and I hope today I am going to finish this chapter because only one topic is left, that is water. So already you have studied about it, water, soft water, hard water, then what are the causes of soft water, how, and what are the causes of hard water and how hardness can be removed. Before that we have hard water, permanent hard water, temporary hard water. So how this temporary hardness can be removed, how this permanent hardness can be removed, this all we have to study, and you have studied also. And in your book there are 3 experiments. So the first experiment and the second experiment are very simple one. Third experiment I will try to explain you if I finish the whole things in this session. Otherwise hardly we will take one more session, one more lecture, and when I will finish this chapter, so I will give you the briefing about how to write the project and what are the important things that you have to consider while writing the project. So that I will discuss. So don't worry about that. I will be discussing about the project after I finish this chapter water. Now, so starting from this water, so let's have what are the main topics to be covered. So before going into detail about the topics of water, what are the first of all, let us study about let us recall the sources of water. What are the sources of water? The sources of water are basically the rainwater, the groundwater, the water in the river, water in the sea, spring water. All these are the sources of water, and this comes to us through various purification measures and the drinking water which we. So main sources are the rainwater, the groundwater, the spring water, and etc. etc. Now water has been divided into soft water and hard water. What is soft water? Soft water is simply, which forms lathers very well with soap, that is known as soft water. Hard water which does not form lathers easily, so that is hard water. Which does not, or you can say which does not lathers with soap, that is hard water. So, and instead it forms a scum, that is the precipitate. It forms the precipitate, insoluble one. So that is known as hard water. So they have been divided into temporary hard water and permanent hard water. Temporary hard water means hardness is temporary. It can be removed on boiling. It will be, the hardness of that water will be removed. It will go away. So permanent hard water, and as I told, hard water freely lathers with soap, instead forms sticky scum, precipitate. This can also be seen in the case of this. Now permanent hard water, this is the main thing, that it does not go off on boiling, needs chemical treatment. And sometimes, dear students, after this we will study about the causes of hardness, and sometimes here we can, as I have written here, that the permanent hardness can be removed, it needs chemical treatment. So in temporary hardness also we can do chemical treatment, and we can remove by that also, by boiling also, and by some chemical treatment. The same chemical treatment we can apply here also, and it's given in your book also, that example, how to remove the hardness. Now let us go in detail about the cause of hardness. So what are the causes of temporary hardness and permanent hardness? Now the cause of temporary hardness is basically the bicarbonates, these compounds. If these compounds means calcium bicarbonate and magnesium bicarbonate, if these compounds are present in water, any water, so it will be the cause of temporary hardness. The water will become temporarily hard. And if the sulfides if the chlorides and the sulfates are present, whose chlorides and sulfates? That of calcium and magnesium. If they are present as a compound in water, then it will cause for permanent hardness of that water, that particular amount of water. So these are basically the causes. Presence of these compounds, the bicarbonates, and there we have chlorides and sulfates. Now, the question is, how do they mix with water? So it's very simple and very easy. Now let us take one by one temporary hardness. So temporary hardness, these are the salts, calcium bicarbonate and magnesium bicarbonate, or hydrogen carbonate you say, responsible. Now one thing, that when we have rainwater, it comes to ground, so it becomes groundwater. On passing through rocks, on passing through ground, it comes in contact with rocks, and there it comes in contact with air. So three things go along with it: the water along with air and the rocks. Means it passes through, flows on the rocks. Now this is rainwater, that is H2O. From air it takes CO2, because water has as a chemical compound, has the capacity, has the property to dissolve gases in it. So it dissolves CO2. And from the rocks, wherever there is present calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, so these three react. The water takes CO2 from air, and from the rocks it takes calcium carbonate if present in traces, and it forms calcium bicarbonate. So wherever this phenomena with any source of water takes place, it causes it temporarily hard. Same is if in the rocks magnesium carbonate is present, it will make magnesium bicarbonate and it will make it temporarily hard. Now this is very simple. Only conceptual point which you have to understand is this calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate. Now this calcium carbonate, we say it is insoluble. So how it is? Because when we will see how to remove hardness, so this calcium carbonate, this magnesium carbonate is there in the product side, and we filter it, and we say that they are since they are insoluble, so we filter it out and the hardness is removed. So dear student, this is the only conceptual thing which I was trying to explain you at this point, because there we are saying it insoluble and here we are saying it soluble. So only difference is yes, it is insoluble, but as time passes it becomes soluble in water, water being a universal solvent. So it takes some time, but it is soluble and bicarbonate is formed. So this is the reason. Now we have permanent hardness. So this was about temporary hardness. Cause permanent hardness, same thing. Groundwater or rainwater flows, and from the minerals it combines to take calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium sulfate and magnesium sulfate, as we have seen here. So when these things will be present in water, and these things, from where do they come? They come from the minerals present in the earth, in the rocks, in the mountains. So this presence of calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate makes the water permanently hard. So this was all about hardness. Now next we will study about how to remove temporary hardness and permanent hardness. So we have to study about the removal of hardness. So the temporary hardness and the permanent hardness. Now this temporary hardness, we have calcium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate responsible for temporary hardness. So it is to be removed. So simple thing is, it is again decomposed to its carbonates by heating it, by boiling it. So this sign is for heat, for boiling, and simply we get the carbonates, calcium carbonate plus H2O plus CO2. So you can see that it's a type of reversible reaction, that bicarbonates were formed by CO2 plus H2O plus these insoluble carbonates, and these are, as the point which I was discussing about, these are insoluble carbonates, and so they precipitate and they can be filtered out, and thus it is now removed because it is being filtered out, so water becomes soft. The filtration, that diagram is given in your book also, you can see here. Now permanent hardness. So for permanent hardness, a reagent is used, and that reagent or chemical treatment which we were talking about. So that reagent or chemical treatment is this Na2CO3, that is sodium carbonate, that is washing soda. So it is added and we get this reaction. Again we get the insoluble carbonates which settle down in the form of precipitates, and they are filtered out. And these are all the sodium salts are soluble. All the sodium salts are soluble. So these are soluble salts, and this insoluble precipitate or the insoluble product or the insoluble carbonates, again they are filtered out, and then the water becomes soft. So this way permanent hardness. And here one thing to be noted, that seal, that in your book this one thing extra has been here given, that removal of temporary hardness by chemical treatment. This is calcium bicarbonate, and we are treating it with washing soda, and again we are getting the insoluble carbonates and this sodium bicarbonate which is soluble. So again the temporary hardness is removed here. So temporary hardness can be removed also by treatment by treating them chemically, and permanent hardness can be removed. What this example wants to say all about. So this is all about this chapter. Only one experiment is left, so I'm not going to take that experiment today. I will explain it tomorrow, and it's a very simple one, that formation of soap, that sodium stearate. There is nothing to explain, although I will say some few words about it. And tomorrow, so we end this chapter. Tomorrow I may give you that the selective questions of this chapter 3, which are to be done in your copy, school copy, and then we can discuss project also. Otherwise it's different that we will discuss project on Saturday, or whatever the situation will be there, I will do it accordingly tomorrow. So that's for today, all for today, dear students. Thank you very much.